Hello everyone, it's your boy Genius out here at the range today. I do have the Mac 9 double stack from Military Armament Group. Although TSIS does make this for them, according to them, to their standards. I did a little short on it, spoke a little bit briefly about it during the short, and some people had some questions about the grip thickness and some of the, I guess, the specs on it. How did it feel in the hand? How did it shoot? All of that stuff. Haven't got to shoot it yet. I did put 4 rounds on target to zero my optic. I have the Hollison 407C mounted up here. I'll talk a little bit about the mounting, how that works and everything. But today I just kind of wanted to do an initial thought, I guess, AKA tabletop. I hate literally doing a tabletop on the table. I kind of just like talking about it out at the range while I'm shooting. So I'm going to try to incorporate both of those, the shooting, my initial thoughts, and a tabletop with some specs all in one video, I guess. And I will try my best, Lord willing. My wife and I plan to come out to the range together tomorrow so we could do a little better camera work and bring my TSIS double stack 1911 and also bring maybe my Prodigy. The only Prodigy I have is the comp. Maybe bring, let's see what else. I probably wouldn't be fair to do the staccato, but at least compare them to a few other similar setups, similar designs, if you will. But either way, again, it is the Mac 9 double stack. So I guess they would refer to it as the double stack 1911. Again, Military Armament Corporation, which is located in Knoxville, Tennessee, built by TSIS to their exact standards according to them. That's what they say. Mac 1911, 9mm double stack, and it does come with a plate from the factory to mount your RMR pattern optic, and it does have a M1913 light rail on the front of the frame, polymer grip module, does have 25 LPI checkering on the front and the rear of the module, has an aluminum removable mag well, chambered in 9mm, obviously, with a 4.25 bull barrel that is QPQ Tenifer finished with 11-degree target crown. Says it'll keep the recoil at a minimum. The length on this overall is 7.9 inches. The height is 5.77 inches. The weight is 30 ounces unloaded. Obviously a single action and a ambidextrous thumb safety, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And let's see, the plate that comes with it, it does have the windage adjustable rear sight raised in the rear to co-witness with your RMR, your Hollison, whatever it is that you want to put on there. And I rather, torqued it to 15 inch-pound on the optic screws. So either way, initial thoughts, again, someone had mentioned the grip and how that in the initial short that I put up, how that it seemed thick, it seemed big, maybe too big to hold for someone with small hands or something like that. I have big hands, but not in length. I have these fat sausage fingers, and so my hands are not necessarily large. So to me, until I get the other ones out here to, kind of try out, if you will, it kind of sort of mostly feels just as similar as, my staccato, Prodigy, anything else in the hand. It does take my staccato mags. It did not want to seat my Prodigy mags, but that's because of the way of the base plate is made on the Prodigy mag, and this aluminum mag well was stopping it from seating. So not able to use my Prodigy mags, but my staccato mags work just fine in there. So it does have an adjustment for over travel on the trigger, as I've already mentioned, a four slot light accessory rail up here, and front rear serrations. They are, let's see, I mean, they work, I guess. Nothing to write home about, not super aggressive. The mag release does stick off of the gun nicely, so I am able to manipulate that without adjusting my grip. So I would say that it's tactical, if you will. It does stick off the frame very nicely. The beaver tail safety or grip safety It doesn't seem to be a problem engaging. I guess we'll be able to see when we're shooting it. The only beef that I had with it right out of the box was the safety is extremely flimsy. Now, I don't know if that is a symptom of all of them or just my variant. I don't know, but it is very flimsy. And as you know, I am a little bit of a snob about the safeties on my 1911s. And I will say that when I was shooting the 4 rounds downrange to put it on target to get it zeroed, I was very easily able to accidentally just barely move the safety upward and knock it off and I'm sitting there looking like an idiot with the dip of death, you know. So I'm not a fan of the safety. Definitely be something I would fix, right? So as far as the flared magwell, I like the flared magwell. The finish on it seems to be just as good as it is on the Thesis. Someone mentioned that. They said they thought that the finish looked better on this. I mean, I don't think so. To me, it looks just as good as the finish on the Thesis. The grip module is just right for me. I mean, it's the texturing on the grip module. I like it. I don't like anything that's super aggressive. And for me, it's just right. Now, for others, it's probably going to be a little bit slick, but I personally don't have a problem with the grip. The texturing on the front is just right for me. Everything's good with it. So, with, without further ado, let's put a magazine down range, and I'll talk a little bit about the recoil accuracy, the trigger, some of those things. So it's hard for me when it comes to a 2011 or say maybe even a 1911. It's very hard for me to say, the recoil is fabulous. It really stays on target. The recoil response, is flat shooting. Because 2011s are kind of all those things, right? So if you make a good 2011, let me grab my other mag here. If you make a good 2011, it's going to be all of those things. So then it just kind of comes down to how fast is it. It's definitely sure it's not going to be as fast as an Atlas or a Staccato or something like that. So, but as far as the recoil, I mean it's right there with the original Prodigy, definitely the Thesis. They feels like a 2011, right? Which again is handles the recoil very nicely. Is a very flat shooting setup in general, right? So does it shoot as good as the Staccato? No, it don't. It doesn't shoot as good as my Prodigy comp as far, but that's a comped gun, obviously, so it shoots a lot flatter, a lot more fun to shoot. So I don't know. I hate that safety. I can tell you that right now. So I'm having to make sure that I ride it, which is something I generally would do anyway. But I'm making very sure that I ride that safety on this one because it is super flimsy. So I don't know if that's going to pick up in the sun, but we had ourselves man, that's a beautiful stovepipe right there, ain't it? I like that. So we had a stovepipe. Don't think I could be limp wristing a 2011, but let the smoke clear. So this wasn't lubed, it wasn't cleaned, anything like that prior to me shooting it. The one stovepipe, again, I don't think is me limp wristing no 2011. I'm not shooting it super fast. When I come out to do the comparison with I don't know if it'll be fair to use the Prodigy comp. That's the only one that I have. I have the Thesis, which they both are made by the same company, so I don't know how that'll be, but it is a little bit different. The Thesis is so. when I bring it out, I'll also bring out my staccato. It's been a little while since I've shot it, and I will compare the difference between, is it really that much better for the $3,000 price tag versus the MSRP on this? I think is around $999. I think I've seen them for anywhere between $800 and $900. I did not pay that much for this. That's the reason I've not reviewed it, because I thought that that was too much for what it was, being a budget friendly double stack 1911. So I was able to pick this up at a gun show this past weekend, and I was able to pick it up for, I think, 640 out the door. I believe 645 out the door, cash price. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll pick it up. The Thesis was a little less expensive than that, but I mean, I like the gun. I have no problem with it. So I'm going to load up 2 more magazines just to see if it does any more of that stove piping, and then kind of wrap the video up. Okay, so I got 2 more magazines loaded up. Not sure if I mentioned that the magazines are 17 rounders and the staccato mags will fit. I do believe I mentioned that, but they are 2 17 round mags that came with it. Came with a very nice, soft carrying case, maybe not quite as nice as the bag you got from Staccato, but again, $3,000, $645. So either way, you got 2 more magazines loaded up. Gonna run these 2, and I think that I will have done due diligence in giving you my initial first thoughts and some of the specs on the gun. And Lord willing, I will be back out at the range tomorrow, and we'll run it a little harder. I don't think it would be fair to have, since all the reviews we've done this year, we haven't cleaned it, haven't lubed it, took it straight out of the box. It really wouldn't be fair not to do the same with this one. So it has not been cleaned or lubed, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I cannot stand the safety. So that is a gripe of mine, if you will. It's just so easy to knock off. It's too easy to knock off for me. Tell you what, it is a really, really fun gun to shoot. But most 2011 or 1911 double stacks are. It's just the nature of, as I mentioned already, the design. So we had another one of those situations. Not sure if that's going to show up on camera. I hope it does. Kind of, sort of a stovepipe. Not nearly as beautiful as that other one was. Just the next round attempted to feed, but this round did not come out. I'm not sure if it's hitting the optic or what's going on there. But let's get that out of there. Pick up this round that did not go bang, or did not actually chamber. And I don't know. We'll see if it's an ongoing thing or not. By the time I got over there, I couldn't even see that target. There's so much smoke. It doesn't matter if the sun's not hitting it, but when the sun's hitting that smoke, can't even hardly see that target. So again, I don't think it's me limp wristing. You can't, before anybody says it, it's not possible to run the screw into the ejector, or the extractor, should I say, because the way this mounts up, like I said, it did come with a plate with the rear sight integrated into it that is raised. The screws that you remove from your cover plate actually are the screws you use to put your optic plate in place, and they are super, super short screws, and then you screw your optic into that plate. So no, it's not possible that the screws impeded the extractor at all. So before anybody goes there, that did not happen. That's not what's going on here. But and again, I don't think I was limp wristing the gun, so I don't know if that'll be an ongoing problem. Again, if it does become a thing where it continues to keep happening, I do want to be fair, because I do recommend that if a gun you're going to carry, I'm reviewing guns, you're probably carrying the gun, so it'd probably be a good idea for you to clean it out of the box, right? And certainly after each range visit, and make sure you're lubing the gun up. I'm testing, I'm evaluating. I did buy this gun, of course, with my own money. And so if it'll run under the conditions that I'm trying to run it under, it'll run great for you, no question about it. But if that does continue to be a thing when we come back out to the range tomorrow, I will either use some different ammunition, or I will just take it apart and lube it up and see if that fixes the problem. And if so, I wouldn't dog the gun over it at all. And I am running 124 grain Igman ammunition through this. I've never had problems with that ammo. It's always been great. Maybe I'll switch it up and run some 115 tomorrow or something. I don't know. We'll just see if it continues to be an issue or not. But definitely super, super fun to shoot. Seems like it's going to be a pretty fast gun. I could not really demonstrate that today because of the way the sun's hitting the target and the smoke, and not having any paint on my targets down there. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to fix that and kind of demonstrate how fast it is. But that's not what I was trying to do today. What I was trying to do today is, test for function, obviously, give you some of the specs, also my impression, what I think about it. And it definitely seems as though it has the potential to be a very fast, certainly already can tell you it's a fun gun to shoot, as are all 2011. So we'll keep an eye on that whole stovepiping thing. As far as the trigger, I don't have my trigger gauge out here at the range with me, but as far as the trigger goes, so we say, why ain't you showing me that on camera? So it's got just the slightest little bit of take up, not much at all. So it feels like it's probably a little heavier than your average, than my Prodigy, and certainly my Staccato. I'll try to get my trigger gauge out here tomorrow, but just feeling of it, it feels as though it might be 7 pounds maybe. So let's check out the reset. So very nice reset, actually. Yeah, actually it's a nice reset on that, which super, super short. In fact, it's almost as soon as I let pressure off of that trigger, it's like it forces my finger back out. And it's very, very short, very tactile in that you feel it and you hear it. So the reset's really nice. This is the Mac 9 double stack 1911, made by TSIS to the specifications of Military Armament Corporation in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thanks so much for watching. Consider going over donating on my website at gsquaredtactical.com, and of course Patreon monthly, $5, cancel anytime. And let's see, super thanks, you could do that. Anything to kind of help get ammunition to continue to review and purchase the newest things out on the market. So thanks for watching again. Make sure you subscribe. Very, very important. Double check that you still are, but just make sure you are still subscribed, and make sure you know Jesus Christ is your Savior. Literally the most important thing you'll ever do. Ask me how you can know that. And as always, to God be the glory.